Hi, my name is JAMEEL RAWLS. I'm a veteran esoteric researcher. I consider myself a modern mystic. Today I want to talk to people about illusions. A lot of the things that go on around the world, historically, currently, and in the future, are based on several layers of illusion. First of all, they have to operate that way to keep modern reality intact. If everybody could see everything at every single second, it really wouldn't work out too well. So people need layers sort of mass to be behind to keep certain functions going. But in general, historically, when you look at an event, it is never what you think it is. I've studied eras such as the Cold War, going back to the 50s, 60s, 70s. Oftentimes I would see things, and I didn't read it in a book. Nobody physically told me. It wasn't information that I got out of some secret record or something like that. It was just things I had intuitions about. And I would read marvelous works done by people with PhDs, scholars, and I discovered quickly either these people just didn't know what was there in front of them, or to some effect or another, they were helping to cover it up. Uh, it's very fragile. The fabric of reality is very fragile. If you really want to discover something, it's not difficult. It's more easy than you think it is. Most people just do not go on their intuition. They do not go on their gut instincts. They feel an inferiority complex. I'm not good enough to look into this, or I'm not supposed to know, or there's a great intimidation factor there because they will see all these authorities, the supposed authorities, saying a contradictory explanation. So they think, well, if all these great people are saying the opposite of what I feel is right, then I can't be right, and that's not true. Um, Another thing is I learned very quickly how it can get you into trouble. So sometimes there's some things you may not want people to know that you know. That's another thing too. There's some things you may just not want to. So I pick and choose a lot. I've learned that along the way of my research. A lot of things I look at realistically. One of the things I want to talk about is a subject I used to look into called the Cuban Missile Crisis, which was going on during the Cold War. And it was a big thing with the Soviets and, the West, the Americans. And, this was a time when people used to hide under their desk at school. Was a bomb going to drop? People would have bomb shelters underneath their homes. The news breathed, ate, and slept fear about the Soviets, the Reds under the beds. And so people went through life with a true paranoia of what was going to happen. Are bombs going to be dropped? Are we going to, what's going to happen next? Looking at that area in the Caribbean, I learned very quickly, what is it about Cuba? Why would Cuba be important? I looked into the nature of the ocean floor, and I quickly discovered, well, there's tons of ancient Atlantean ruins. There's pyramids under the Bermuda, or under the Bahamas. There's all sorts of things down there that really could be utilized by an intelligent group of people. If they can see these ruins underneath the ocean and get down there and discover what's in them, there could be new technology. There could be historical information. There may still somehow be inhabitants, some sort of civilization somehow underneath the surface. So I looked at the Cuban Missile Crisis in a very different way. And that was through my own intuition. I just started looking into this. And so it became my belief that the whole Cuban Missile Crisis thing may have in fact been a standoff based on what was at the ocean floor. And what the media was, what was going on within the newspapers, the magazines, the overall story might have been something far different. Not to say that there wasn't real things going on during the Cuban Missile Crisis besides that, of course there was. There's always multiple different things going on. But that's just one example. And I found my intuition to be right on that subject. There's a lot of different things that I've seen going on. And I always thought to myself, wow, how many people walking around are even looking at that aspect? There's so many different people walking the streets that have such a limited perception of the events in the world. something jumps off over in a different country and nobody knows anything about what's really happening. Nothing. They think they do, but they don't know anything at all. Nothing. You'll be surprised. And I said, okay, well, if people are being born and raised in an environment like that, where things are happening around them, and they're being told stories, and they're living their life, their daily activities based on these stories of things that might not even be happening at all, or it's a great deal of disinformation, they're living in extreme, they're delusional. They're living within multiple layers of illusion. And what you call the lie is different at every level. So there's a lot of people walking around thinking, I know what's going on. Man, I was in school for 10, 20 years, and I work for these people, so I know what's going on. And they don't. Because the lie is different at every level. So part of becoming a mystic and getting in touch with yourself is really looking deeply into what you feel you see. And again, all truths are true. So what's true for you might not be true for somebody else. You can have a whole cadre of facts, and you can show people. I've done it for years. Look at this, 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 look at this. And usually the only people who are even going to know what you're talking about is somebody who is some way connected to it, or they got a like mind like you. But the majority of the people out there just aren't gonna see it. Now, the positive thing about this is it gets you more in tune with who you are, what's going on around you. The more you discover what's been hidden in the past or covered with illusion, the more you're going to be able to accurately see the things going on around you. Then the nature of reality changes. The very fabric of reality will change. Like, you can go walking to a gas station, like there's a Shell's down the street from me. If I go to the Shell, when I look at the Shell, I don't look at it as a shell. I know the symbolism. I know it's the sun rising. I know what the symbolism represents. And I know human beings are naturally attracted to light. So for a lot of people, that's a powerful symbol. Go get your gas there. Look, it's the sun rising. It's the light. We're naturally attracted to light. So we want to be there. It's subliminal. It's in their consciousness. They don't know it forthright, but it's in their mind. But it's a form of illusion that's going on within that interaction of them going to the gas station and purchasing gas. Things like this happen every single day, but people just aren't in tune with it. Now, again, most of the information that you can extract comes from the ether around you. You don't need a book. You don't need a movie. You don't need a documentary, which I spent years reading and watching documentaries and researching with other people, listening to radio shows, yada, yada, yada. But the more you look for the truth, the more it will come through the ether. Human beings are electromagnetic. The universe is electromagnetic. The past, the present, and the future is all connected within the ether around us. If you see things that you want to know what happened, all you have to do is focus your energy into it, and eventually it will come to you. You will start having instant intuitions. You may have what they call instant downloads. There was a woman I was listening to a presentation earlier where she was talking about indigo children and all this stuff, how human beings are coming into the world, new people with new abilities to their DNA. I believe in all that. 80% of the information I've received has come in that way, through the ether. Or it has come through some sort of clairvoyant ability, my own, or I might have went to a psychic, an astrologist, somebody who's into numerology, channeling, different sorts of things. Very rarely, very, very rarely have I actually discovered anything through a book. I may have discovered information in the book which would cross-reference what I already knew or inherently knew. But very rarely would I go into a book or some documents or something and just say, wow. Usually it was my own intuition of going through something. And so that's what I want to leave with people. That's what I want to leave with people right here is no matter what the subject is you're looking into. Matter of fact, that same presentation, they were showing a picture of a young boy, and he was describing how with the pyramids of something about ancient Lemuria, there was information under the pyramids. That shocked me when I heard that in that presentation, because I've been thinking that for years. That within the pyramids in Egypt, the pyramids of Giza, there's information stored underneath, in the channels underneath the pyramids. And right now, that's a big thing. Right now, people don't know about it. That is a big thing. There are people out there who want that information. They want access to that. And there's agreements being made behind the scenes right now about that same exact subject. Nobody walking the streets knows that, and it's not being broadcasted on the news, but it's a big deal. So there's information out there everywhere, and people are accessing it constantly through their DNA, through certain sorts of channels. The extraterrestrial presence on the Earth is coming in many different ways. And people are being scientifically transformed to interact with the Earth in a much different way, so they can utilize these abilities and learn from it and do new sorts of things. But you're not going to get that at all from the television or your teachers. Nothing coming out of the public educational system is going to do that for you. It's not going to come in that way.